From elementary to high school, I've attended only private schools, which meant uniforms, Catholicism, and a really small school building. Okay, the buildings actually weren't that small, they just are when you compare them to their public school counterparts. I know a lot of people I went to school with tell me about how much they hated it and never want to go back, but as much as I also hated going, I had some pretty fun memories, so I'm gonna share them with you. Specifically ones from high school, cause nothing interesting happened before freshman year. Okay, let's start from the beginning and then work our way around. And freshman year, I didn't really fit in with anyone just yet, but I did have this one friend, let's call them Kiki, that invited me to hang out with their group because they were going to the convenience store down the street to buy snacks. Nothing was really significant about this outing other than the fact that when we got there, Kiki was like, "Oh my god, we should have a feast." And honestly, that was the greatest idea ever. We bought almost half the frickin' store and booked it back to the school. For some reason, it was kind of frowned upon to bring food from outside into the school, so we had to sneak it in by using one of the side doors. Once we made it inside, we gathered our ginormous pile of food and drinks, and we just sat there and laughed and shared. I know this one isn't as exciting, but this was the first time I felt like I had a group in high school, and it will always be a fond memory to me. Okay, moving on. When I was a silly little sophomore, one snowy afternoon in I don't remember which month, me and a couple of my friends were sitting in the music practice room area because that was now our unofficial hangout spot. Remember that side door we snuck into during the last memory? Yeah, well, it's making its reappearance. These two juniors enter from the door, and they're wet as hell, and one of them is holding two sleds. They rush towards us, panting like dogs, and they ask, "Do you guys want to come sledding with us?" We all just kind of give each other glances because, one, I'm a follower, not a leader, and two, 98% of the faculty already liked me, and I didn't really want to tarnish my reputation. But I was a sophomore. Sophomores don't give a crap. So the 7 of us book it outside and cross the driveway. On the other side, there's this really, really steep hill that we're not really allowed to be on because there's a shed and soccer goals and other weird miscellaneous items. But we didn't really mind it because they were at the bottom of the hill. Me and Kiki get on one of the sleds, and since I hadn't been sledding in forever, I insisted on sitting in the front. This was a bad idea. Kiki slowly pushes us towards the edge of the hill, and our speed increases, and in seconds we're darting down this hill. I'm screaming and having fun until I remember that there's a freaking shed, and a van actually. There's a van I forgot to mention, and we're heading straight forward. Suddenly, I'm not screaming front, I'm screaming because I don't know what to do. Kiki notices me screaming, and us rapidly approaching the obstacles ahead. They yell, "Brake!" and we jump off the sled just in time. I ended up getting my hair wet and kind of hurt my ankle, but it was worth it. I had fun. And one of the freshmen that was with us lost her AirPods, which was also kind of funny. My high school wasn't entirely a high school because it went from 6th grade to 12th grade, but every Thursday we had these whole school meetings called community meetings, which weren't really whole because the meetings we had were split between the middle school and the upper school. I know a lot of people thought they were an inconvenience. I did too sometimes, especially when I needed to get work done, but they were pretty fun. Normally the school just had them to remind us of important things and announce upcoming events, but there were some times when we did some really weird shit. Like we played games like musical chairs and teacher versus student basketball games or whatever. We even had a meeting where we pied the head of student affairs in the face. Unforgettable. This one time I was chilling out in our hangout area after school, and my best friend Tori comes running from the staircase and hides inside one of the cubbies. I look at her and she looks at me and she goes, "If the drama director asks where I am, I'm not here." And seconds later, the drama director walks into the music room area. I'd like to think Tori was being chased that entire time, but at that moment I was trying so hard not to laugh because it was so funny. She looks down at me and asks, "Hey, have you seen Victoria?" There's this weird awkward silence between me and her as I look back and forth between Tori cramped in this cubby and the drama director. No. Well, okay. Uniforms, I mentioned them earlier. They're a staple of private schools. We had 2 types of uniforms. Winter dress, which consisted of a white blouse and a skirt, or a white button down and khaki pants. And warm weather dress, which was essentially the same as winter dress, but get rid of the stupid button downs and make it breathable. The thing about uniforms is that they make us all look the same, so everyone tried to add their own little quirks to it in order to have some sense of individuality. But the school didn't like that, so this one morning while I'm getting ready for school, I got a text from my group chat saying something along the lines of, which I didn't think was true until I watched someone I knew get sent home because their socks were the wrong color. Apparently, it was such a big deal that 3 faculty members stood at the main entrance of the school just to make sure everyone was in dress code. I don't know why that day was the day they decided to get up everyone's butt about it, but I entered through one of the side doors because it was being held open by a shoe, and I didn't want to get told to take my jacket off. School is freezing, goddamn. Okay, last story because I don't want this getting too long. I had just left my math class to go and use the bathroom when all of a sudden there's a message being spoken on the intercom. There isn't a speaker in the restroom, so I had to try and listen through the door, but all I could hear was lockdown and clear the hallway. Any sort of important safety message being spoken over intercoms invokes so much fear into me. So much. It's literally my greatest fear. I'm scrambling to get myself together when I hear the door open and someone goes, "Is anyone in here?" It was the Spanish teacher whose classroom is literally across the hall. So I leave the stall I was in, leave the bathroom, and hastily make my way towards her classroom. But then she stops me. How far away is your classroom? Down the hall. I think if you can run, you can make it. What? Don't worry, I'll watch you. This woman was not being for real right now. The hallways in the school were long, and I wasn't a fast runner in any capacity. But this woman genuinely would not let me into her classroom. So I had no choice but to sprint to mine, which I did. There wasn't much to it other than hearing my heart in my ears the whole time and literally banging on my classroom door once I got there. But I'm still here, so everything's fine. Everything's fine. Hi guys. Thanks so much for watching. Like and subscribe for more animations. They're so cool and so swag. I was gonna mention something about my senior trip to Disney World, but I've decided to save Disney for its own video. I don't think it'll be as long as this one, but it'll be something. Also, thank you to all my patrons. You guys are the coolest. Become a patron on my Patreon and or buy from my shop to support me outside of the channel. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Bye.